My faith in humanity has been restored. And to answer that man's question, why are they booing? They're booing a career politician that is literally rigging the system, scamming the American people while enriching themselves to insane amounts of money. That's why people are booing Nancy Pelosi, because they're fed up with this nonsense of them being told they have to sacrifice their lives for her benefit. Yeah. No, thank you. At least this is why I think that happened. Anyway, welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudowski here of WeAreChange.org. And man, oh man, do we have some crazy news to get into, especially with the latest shocking actions by the Federal Bureau of Investigations that we're going to be uncovering here on this broadcast. This says crime is rising all throughout the United States to such severity that even some cities are training their civilians to do detective work, while other Jabba the Hutt-like politicians are lecturing us about political wrongthink. This as the situation in Europe gets very serious, and we're not just talking about what is happening in Ukraine. Lots of very troubling signs, lots of Federal Reserves all around the world giving major announcements and speeches today, as there is a lot of blood in the water. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, you can get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And truly, the video that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is by a bunch of users all over social media, highlighting how the Democrat establishment agenda, especially when it comes to pushing for policies that hurt the average American, are not really that popular. And if there ever was a way of understanding the current political climate, I think it's these types of videos. That even in die-hard New York City, during a climate rally, this was the response by many people in attendance there. This picture here says it all from that night, as of course, many people do believe that the federal government has been abusing its power and authority, and I could say that is definitely true, as the latest events we're finding out from the Federal Bureau of Investigations, a highly politicized organization that many have argued have been working on the behests of Democrats abusing their federal law enforcement powers, was just caught lying and misleading a judge to get a warrant that was able to allow them to break into 1,400 safe deposit boxes, confiscating nearly $86 million. This as we're also finding out that they planned this seizure or this theft for months, while of course claiming the property found inside of the safety deposit box that weren't claimed by individuals as their own. And on top of lying to a judge to get this warrant, they also defied the judge's restrictions in the warrant by specifically searching through box holders' belongings for, quote, evidence of any crimes that they were not aware of, but they were just looking for, snooping for, going through the personal belongings of ordinary people, taking their cash, their jewelry, poker chips, password lists, credit cards, prenup agreements, personal private records, bank statements, heirlooms, and other personal belongings. Now, what was the real reason behind this larger theft? Well, we still don't know, but there's a class action lawsuit against the FBI right now pertaining to this matter. This as also today we're finding out that the FBI just conducted another pre-dawn raid on a home of a Catholic pro-life speaker, once again selectively choosing to punish the main political opponents of the current establishment, using the justice system as a form of ideological punishment. Now, what was the real reason for, of course, this once again concerted effort to punish people because of their political ideas? Well, we still don't know, and we will be waiting to find out the details of this. And as the federal law enforcement concentrates on political ideas, it's important to note here that crime has been absolutely surging all throughout the United States, especially in major Democratic areas, like in the place that has the most strictest gun control in all of the United States, where over the weekend 31 people were shot. This as surprisingly, New Orleans has even taken the #1 spot for the murder capital in the United States, even reaching numbers higher than Chicago, as police officers there are now training civilians to do detective work. Yes, you heard me correctly. The police officers in New Orleans are so desperate that they have started to resort to hiring civilians to do detective work in the murder capital of the United States. This as police officers there are quitting in droves. Why? Well, there's democratic government policies that make them not want to work there. This as crime has been soaring and has seen a 78% spike in homicides just this year alone. This as, of course, the previous Democratic politicians like the mayor in 2006 there have promised that, quote, New Orleans will beat chocolate again. Yes, that's literally what he said. All of this as crime is being incentivized by unaccountable billionaires that are hiring woke DAs all across the United States. As in Illinois, the woke politicians there are literally changing the bail system where almost every dangerous crime people will be set on the streets loose for. But don't worry, as you have to clutch your purse and belongings and watch your back every single place you go in the United States now. The politicians have the answer, and that, of course, is their continued prosecution of people for their own political thoughts and ideas. Yes, Hillary Clinton just came out in a speech moments ago comparing the former president of the United States and his supporters to, of course, Germans during the 1930s and 40s. As if our politics wasn't sensationalistic enough, as if it wasn't hyperbolic enough, as if it wasn't just distracting us enough from the real problems that we face, here we are today. And I think a lot of it is being done deliberately, which I will be discussing later on today on LukeUncensored.com, our very own platform where we get to say and do what we want. You get a new video almost every single day. There's a very easy way to sign up. We'll give you multiple options along with new videos almost every single day, 3 master classes, a forum, exclusive only apparel, monthly AMAs, and access to future events and meetups that, of course, are only going to be available to members of LukeUncensored.com. This is our own little private club, our own secret, not so secret society where you get to meet like-minded individuals and participate in very important discussions and conversations along with working with us potentially on future projects that are absolutely essential and you could take part in, specifically on LukeUncensored.com. I will see you there later on today, right after this video, as of course we have a very spicy topic to get into, specifically when it comes to Italy and a product that's not really selling that well. What's really happening here? We're going to get into that plus a lot more later on today on LukeUncensored.com. See you there right after this broadcast, as of course we're not done here, as there is still so much chaos, so much insanity in our everyday life that is over-consuming the news headlines that are filled with just one crazy thing after another crazy thing. It never ends here, and it's important for you to understand it, especially if you live in Europe, where, of course, we're getting breaking news right now that there is a gas leak in the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which, of course, will be negatively affecting Europe, that is already extremely desperate for energy that it has shot itself in the foot with by implementing policies that predominantly make them dependent on Russian energy. Why did Europe do this? Again, I think it's all a part of a plan. Some people are saying it was all a mistake. I don't think so. It was all done in the name of helping the weather, but in reality literally hindered Europe from making energy for itself. Why did they do this? Are they absolute idiots? I don't think so. I think this is a part of a larger plan. And these latest developments with the Nord Stream 2 pipeline having a gas leak off the Danish coast will only hinder and create more great problems for the people of Europe, as even the president of the European Central Bank today came out in a specific speech detailing how the financial outlook inside of Europe is, quote, darkening. These are the words of the centralized big banker, Christine Lagarde, Bilderberg member, that is warning tough financial times are ahead. And how could you not expect that? With the lack of energy, you have the lack of everything else, and you have the disruption of everything in our society. Cheap energy usually is correlated with the progression of society, with the well-being of the poorest people in our society. You deny energy deliberately, you of course keep the poor people down, making them poorer, limiting their access to, of course, food, heat, and other essentials for life. This, as of course, the Dow has been falling predominantly because of its correlations and major market fears, as of course, the British pound today is falling like a crap coin with massive devaluation of its purchasing power, especially compared to the US dollar, with many people's wealth literally being evaporated right in front of their eyes. Some financial experts have called this, quote, global gloom, and what we're seeing here should not be a surprise rise to the world as, of course, the central powers, the establishment, the most powerful people in this world just shut down the economy 2 years ago, when of course they didn't need to. They did this deliberately, creating what many people called a deliberate destruction of this economy, as we of course were telling you that in the beginning of this health crisis, that specifically one of the major repercussions of this will be the financial pain caused by these lockdowns, by these restrictions, which absolutely have not been based on any kind of scientific data or evidence, and many scholars argue have worsened the situation not only with our health, but with the deliberate destruction of any kind of financial freedom. This, as of course banks started printing money out of thin air, and now we're going to have to pay for the consequences of that money being printed and transferred to the richest people in our society, as of course everyone else is left with the consequences. But don't worry, Ursula von der Leyen, another Bilderberg member and of course the president of the European Commission, has the solution for you. And it is that they will intervene in Italy and sanction them because they don't like their political thoughts. Yes, right now, the European Commission president is focusing on elections in Italy rather than, of course, helping her people to deal with the larger financial irresponsibilities put on her and by all these other politicians that have wrecked any kind of financial freedom. You got to be freaking kidding me. This is why we're going to be talking about Italy. We're going to be talking about the elections there, the new prime minister there, in another video on LukeUncensored.com right after this one, continuing the conversation as, of course, politicians have literally lost it. Hillary Clinton ranting and raving about bad people because they don't think the way she thinks. Ursula von der Leyen is, again, focusing on trying to hurt people because they don't believe what she believes. This is something that, of course, should be bewildering to the average person, as, of course, there's a major firestorm around us coming our way, and these politicians are too busy punching themselves in the face rather than, of course, deal with the real life consequences that are right in front of our face that will be severe, and, of course, I hope you guys are preparing for. And to me, all of this is just absolutely dumb. If you agree, share this video with your friends and family members. It is more imperative than ever, especially with the algorithm changes here on YouTube. Lots of crazy stuff happening, and one of the best ways to get these videos out there is not through the algorithm, is not through the suggested, and it's not even through subscribing or even clicking the notification button. You might not even get videos then. One of the best ways to get the word out is, of course, through just sharing these videos, double-clicking the URL, going through the chat logs, whichever platform you're on, scrolling randomly, send it to a random person. Don't even say anything. And because you do that, I am still here. If you disliked anything I said, let me know why down in the comment section below. I always appreciate constructive criticism. I always appreciate the ability to be able to communicate and try to have an honest, fair, balanced perspective. You thought I did that. If you're here, this is one of the reasons why I love you. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org. One more video right now on LukeUncensored.com.